How did America respond to Pearl Harbor with planes that were not originally designed to take off from the sea? The Doolittle Raid. A message written in fire, December 7th, 1941. It was no ordinary day in United States history. That morning, Japanese bombs rained down on Pearl Harbor, turning the U.S. Pacific Fleet into burning wreckage. A sense of defeat and shock prevailed. It seemed as though Japan was dominating the world. But behind closed doors in the White House, President Roosevelt demanded one thing: a swift, lethal response that would shatter the pride of the Japanese Empire on its own soil. The goal wasn't to destroy the entire Japanese military, but to deliver a single message: no place is safe from our planes. Thus began the story of the Doolittle Raid, a mission generals described as suicidal. The wall of impossibilities. Military planners faced a fortress of logistics. Japan was protected by thousands of kilometers of ocean. Heavy American bombers required land-based runways, and Japan had destroyed all nearby bases. Enter Lieutenant Colonel James Doolittle, a brilliant test pilot. He proposed an idea no one had dared imagine: using Army bombers, B-25 Mitchells, and launching them from a Navy aircraft carrier. The challenge was immense. A carrier's deck is incredibly short, and the bombers were massive and heavy. Secret training began at Eglin Field in Florida. Pilots were ordered to practice taking off in a distance of no more than 140 meters. They had to push their engines to the limit, risking a plunge into the sea with every attempt. To shed weight, they stripped the planes of all unnecessary equipment, even replacing defensive rear machine guns with painted wooden broomsticks to fool enemy fighters. Journey into the unknown. On April 2nd, 1942, the aircraft carrier USS Hornet departed San Francisco with 16 bombers lashed to its deck. The mission was so secret that even the crew did not know their destination. On April 18th, the unexpected happened. While still 1,100 kilometers from Japan, a Japanese picket boat spotted the American fleet. Doolittle faced the toughest decision of his life. We launch now. This meant taking off 10 hours early and from a distance that made a return trip impossible. The fuel would only last long enough to reach Japan and then attempt a desperate escape toward China. The takeoff was epic. Waves crashed against the deck, winds howled, and the bombers bucked and swayed as they struggled to lift off, clawing their way over the Pacific toward the land of the rising sun. The skies of Tokyo ablaze. The planes flew at treetop level, sometimes skimming the crests of the waves to evade radar. At noon, the Japanese coastline appeared. The Japanese could not believe their eyes. American planes bombing Tokyo in broad daylight. Bombs fell on armories, shipyards, and oil facilities in Tokyo, Yokohama, Yokosuka, and Nagoya. While the physical damage was not devastating, the psychological shock was seismic. Japanese radio broadcasts went silent, and panic gripped the imperial palace. The myth of the sacred soil that could never be touched was shattered. Tragic escape and heroism. After the bombing, the most terrifying phase began. Fuel was running dry, darkness fell, and storms battered the planes over the China Sea. Not a single aircraft could land safely. Some pilots bailed out over Japanese-occupied areas in China and were captured. One plane was forced to land in Russia. The rest were aided by brave Chinese peasants who risked their lives to smuggle the American aviators away from Japanese patrols. The Chinese people paid a staggering price for this assistance, as the Japanese military killed thousands of civilians in brutal retaliatory campaigns. A historic legacy. James Doolittle returned to America to receive the highest military honors, but more important than any medal was the strategic shift the raid caused. It forced Japan to withdraw its air and naval forces to protect the home islands, clearing the path for the great American victory at the Battle of Midway just 2 months later.